Welcome to this episode of Pod Save the Queen. And today I have the beautiful, the very well known Chief Stew Faye Clark with me from Below Deck Adventures. So, welcome,
Hi,
Faye. Hi, you look absolutely beautiful today. I love it.
thank you. I
And
needed to make an effort. I've been so ill lately. I just needed to put so much makeup on to make
I
me feel alive.
know I've been sick myself. It's just like on and
Mm.
off here in the States. It's really crazy. So, what I will say though, speaking which of you looking fabulous, you do makeup also, right?
Yes, I was a Bobby Brown professional makeup artist for
Wow.
nearly 10 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, when I left school, I went to college and studied beauty therapy, and it just went on from there, really. And I think I've got to admit, I think makeup was the one thing that I was very, very good at. I loved it. I loved my clients. I used to teach,
Hmm.
took me to Dubai. So I went over to Dubai and did a lot of makeup over there as well for 6 years. So,
You,
yeah.
you look beautiful. I love it. I can tell it looks very nicely done. But
Thank you. But on the show, I look awful the whole
no,
time. I watch
no.
it back.
You know what I liked about the show and what made me actually like you is I'm a Capricorn and you're an Aries, right?
I'm an Aries Pisces. I'm on the
Yes,
cusp.
I can tell, yeah. So I like things to be in a certain way. I can be silly outside of work, trust me, but when it comes to work, I'm super professional. So when you had said to the other girls, I think that we should all have the same aesthetic, like we should all do our hair, we should all do our makeup, we should all be like 5 star spot on. I was like, Faye's my girl immediately when you said that because I feel like when you're trying to be professional and you're trying to brand yourself and just be in a workforce, you should. I know some of them didn't really like that comment that you made when you see in their confessionals, but I feel the same way when it comes to having a certain repertoire of the way that you present yourself to other people in the workforce. So I loved that about you. Instantly when you said that, I was like, Faye's my girl. I,
Thank
I'm I'm all
you.
about
The
that.
thing is, they showed so many times where, we all looked haggard, our hair wasn't matching, our hair was down. When I can
Hmm.
honestly say, obviously, they only show a certain percentage of what they filmed, but most of the days our hair was tied back.
Hmm.
I don't know, made a good storyline though, right?
Well, I think you guys all look beautiful anyway. So, as far as being a chief stew, what are your responsibilities as a chief stew? Just because it's kind of new to me. I've just started dabbling into Below Deck, and one of yours was the first one that I watched. I also watched Kyle's and Haley's, but this one
Mhm.
I watched the whole way through. So, I what exactly does a chief stew do?
Yeah, it really is diverse depending on what yacht you get on. So I've come from fishing boats, which
Hmm.
means that the owners just like to go fishing. They don't care about your hair and makeup and silver service. And I've also been on like chartered boats where, huge celebrities and really wealthy people come on, and then you
Hmm.
obviously have to be 5 star. Some people want to get on and it's their vacation and they're used to 5 star their whole life, and they
Hmm.
actually don't want it. They don't want people pandering to them, hovering around them with white gloves on and thank you sir, no sir. They want to be relaxed.
Right.
Other people do want that, so you really have to like work out what clients are coming on, what kind of holiday vacation they want.
Hmm.
um because I'm quite a people's person, I can kind of gauge what they want as soon as they come
Yeah,
on.
you
And
can read the room. I
yeah,
could
read
tell
the
that about
room.
you when you had the guest. You were able to see the clients or the new people coming on and observe them, and you were like, all
Yeah.
right, so I know what their flow is.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So it is really diverse, but obviously, I think my main thing as a chief stew is you are a mother, you are a friend, you are everybody's go to within your crew. When
Mhm.
anyone has a problem, whether they're emotional, they're tired, they've got a problem, even the captain, they will come to you. You are the
Mhm.
mother hen.
Right.
So you do have to have that warmth about you, but you still obviously have to lead a whole crew. And I don't
Mhm.
care what people say, you got the captain, the bosun, the whatever. It's the chief stew that should really keep everybody together. She needs a good energy. She needs to make
Mhm.
people laugh. She needs to, make people motivated. She needs her team to all be happy.
Yes.
If you've got a happy team, then it's a good working environment. Like a ship can't sail with just a captain or just a
Right.
chief stew. we all need to work together to succeed.
Right. I will say, I feel like I think Nathan was a really good worker out of all the deckhands, but I feel like you were just on the money. I feel like as a compliment to you, I feel as somebody who's a viewer, if I was to be doing something like that, like lavishly on a yacht, I would want you as the chief stew. Like you guys would be going until 1:30 in the morning, doing the napkins, preparing everything for the coffee for the morning so it's laid out. And some of the guests were up until 1:30 in the morning, 2 in the morning. You were up, you were doing your hair, you had your ponytail on, and you came in at 5:30. And I was like, this bitch should not just get up at 5:30 in the morning after folding napkins till 2 a.m. with a smile on, saying, "What can I get you? How did you sleep?" And I was like, wow, like that. I'm a mom, but that was like, you like that. I feel like you are a really good chief stew. That like sold me. You want the aesthetic, and you got up like it was nothing, and you just walked right out. I was like, wow, that was impressive.
It was challenging. I've got to admit that wasn't any normal job. I was sleeping on 4 hours a day sometimes
Yes,
because
and I was like, wow, she's got her hair is done, and she's in, and she's asking them like what they want. It was really
yeah,
impressive.
yeah. And the thing is, obviously you don't see everything, but I did a different theme and a very extravagant theme
Hmm.
every single night, every single lunchtime. And what people don't understand is all that needs clearing away, packing away, then
Hmm.
out again. Not just that, but all the excursions, taking things, and
Hmm.
obviously your guests, they want to talk to you, especially me. They want
Right.
to have a conversation, and I'm trying to have a conversation with them when I know
But
so much is
also,
going on
yeah,
out the
yeah,
back. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay. And I
Hmm.
can hear like Jess in my radio going, Faye, stop talking, stop talking. I need you in the galley. And then I've got like Oriana saying, I need you downstairs. There's a problem downstairs. And I've got the captain saying, come to the wheelhouse. While I'm going, yeah, so I'm originally from Southeast London. Yeah. Like talking to my guests. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
ah.
It was no, I do like also that you want to have a theme for them. I know you said they didn't touch on it, but the first episode I didn't catch it. And then when I heard you say it again, you were like themes Alaska. And I feel like that's like, I don't know. I just love all of your visions for it. You were like, they have to
Yeah.
have, they have to have a theme. This is a 5-star thing. Like it has to be like ground. It has to
Yeah.
be, and I thought that was amazing that you were like, all right, we're going to have a theme this night. We're going to do this night. This is the excursion. But I love that. Is that something that is on every yacht where you do a theme for wherever
Yeah.
you're traveling?
Yeah, it's nice because if people come on with their kids and stuff,
Yeah.
it's nice to have a theme. But even if they're on a yacht and they're on there for like maybe 7 days at a time, they want a reason to get dressed up for dinner. They
Yes.
want,
Yes.
they're with their guests, they want a little bit of entertainment. And
Yeah.
I'm from a background where every birthday party I had, we had a theme, whether it
Hmm.
was cowboys
Hmm.
or I don't know, movie stars,
Whatever it was. Yeah.
yeah,
I
whatever
love
it
a good
was. And
theme.
yeah, love affair. And like we didn't grow up with a lot of money, but we
Hmm.
still pulled, things from the bag and still,
Yeah.
always entertained.
Yeah.
And on the show, we did everything from I did toga parties where everyone had white sheets on and like ivory on their hair. They were
Hmm.
invitations on their bed. We did fire and ice. We did James
Yes,
Bond.
Fire and Ice. I saw
Yeah,
just a little clip, but those, why didn't they show those? Those are exciting. Those sound like really fun
I know.
parties.
And they were hard work as well. And
Yeah.
there was one point where I really tried hard to source dry ice because
Yeah.
I wanted to come out with like my cocktails with all the like the
Right, I
smoke
love that. Yeah,
effect.
because that's what they
Yeah.
want. They
And
want the,
it's
they want the zhuzh. They want all that going on.
yeah, but
Being
then
fancy.
Mike didn't put the lid on the cool box. So I
Hmm.
went to the dry ice and it had completely evaporated.
Yeah.
So people didn't really see all my other struggles that was going
Right,
on.
right. I love that though. That's amazing. So what would you say uh was the person who you felt you didn't get along with best? Not that you dislike them, but just someone you didn't really work well with during this season.
Um, well, obviously you're thrown in at the deep end and you don't know these people from Adam or anything
Right,
like that.
right,
So
right.
you just have to kind of crack on and deal with what you're given. The boys were quite green, which means they wasn't that experienced
Mhm.
in such a level of charter service and like obviously that season.
Mhm.
So I understand that Kerry and Lewis were quite frustrated as well.
Mhm.
Um, but I just needed a bit more of get up and go from the exterior crew, because they're used to working in the Mediterranean or, you know, over in the US where it's really
Right.
hot waters. And they do have to wash down the boat every single day because of all the salt
Mm-hmm.
water. But at this point, we wasn't going that far. The
Right.
guests wasn't outside on jet skis all the time. They were inside because it was cold. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, you need to kind of forget what you used to do. We're in Norway now. We need to
Mm-hmm.
adapt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I need you inside to help. We haven't got a bar to make cocktails with. You know, we've got a tiny pantry. We're doing things that are
Yeah,
extravagant
that
in
pantry
the
was so
interior.
small. Yeah.
Yeah, so small, so small. And you know, I was just trying to give them such an amazing time, obviously the guests, and I
Yeah.
just needed a bit of backing from the guys. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, you know, I would pack up the tender
Mm-hmm.
with all the cutlery, all the plates and stuff, and I'd get to the location and none of that was there. And I'd say, well, where's it
Yes,
gone? And it wouldn't be
I
till
remember that episode. You were like, and I saw myself and you were like, what are you thinking? You pack all of these things, you spend 2 hours to pack all of it. There's
yeah.
no what was it? They didn't have cutlery, right? You were like,
No, but what
well,
it was the boys drove the tender too fast and it all
mm-hmm.
fell off the back and went into the water.
Oh.
But they didn't tell me that till like a week later, you know, and I'm like, I thought I was going mad.
Yeah, like
It
we
was
packed
just
all of this stuff
crazy.
because that's like something I would say. I spent all of this time, I packed all of this stuff. Where the hell is it? This is not a
Yeah,
difficult.
exactly. You had one job, just
I
get it
saw
from
so
A
much
to
of
B.
myself in you when you were doing. So,
Yeah.
who did you get along with the best? Like, who do you think you vibed and worked with the best?
I think it's going to come as a shock when I say Jess.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, it's always going to get heated in the kitchen
Mm-hmm.
because I know what's going on outside. She doesn't. And
Right.
I'm trying to argue with her what the guests want because they are the important ones.
Right there. Who?
But she
Yeah.
has a vision of what she needs to do. So that's why you might see us bickering a bit here and there.
I actually really loved that dynamic, not to interrupt you. I thought it was a really, I could see that though. I liked the dynamic. I feel like you two are both alphas and you were like, you got to pay attention to what's out here. I know you're trying to make magic here, but you got to worry about what's getting shot outside to the guests.
Absolutely. And like what you said, we are both alphas and we are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Jess is from South Africa. I'm from
Yes.
London. We left our countries at a young age and we've been independent women. We've been winging our way around the world, working
Mm-hmm.
our asses off, you know, trying to be successful, trying to be professional, trying to be the best we can possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we've got a great respect for each other. And we're the same age and she's very caring as well. You know, we shared a cabin for a while.
I could see that. I know that you say it might come to a bit of a surprise. It actually doesn't surprise me because I felt like even though there was a lot of chaos, you both kind of worked together really well under that pressure. Even though there was the bickering and the back and forth, it was always done. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
You always got it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the story that Below Deck Adventure really did try to touch on was the journey is no matter the struggles, we still did a fantastic job. Like what was going on behind doors, no one cared.
Yep.
At the end of the day, there was extravagant parties, there was obstacle courses, there was amazing excursions, and there was picnics, there was food, there was cocktails.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say that, and I say this to Jess now, I said all of the charter guests that we had that season are dear friends of mine. I know I am welcome to any of their houses any time of year. I've been invited to their weddings, their Christmases, and to me that means everything to me.
Because that means you shared an intimate moment with those people, and it was
it was
a
an
great
experience for them. Yeah, it was. You know, none of them had ever been Norway before. None of them had obviously been filmed and on TV before, obviously apart from Heather. So it was a huge experience for them, and I think we'll be long life friends, which to me is a huge value.
I think it is too. I agree.
Yeah.
So as far as the issue with the stripes, I know that you actually moved on from that, I feel, with really great poise and grace. So what exactly, just because I'm not really familiar with what the stripes mean, I told you I'm like still a little new with the Below Deck. So was she supposed to also be a chief stew with you, or she just was branded those stripes based on where she was?
No, so obviously I was employed as a chief stew. She was employed as a second stew, and Casey as a third. So that so obviously with Oriana, she should have had 2 stripes.
Right.
But what happened was, because I didn't interview them, I didn't hire them. I didn't know their skill set, I didn't know their strengths, their weaknesses, and we were so thrown in at the deep end. I said, right, ladies, what we're going to do is we're going to work together as a team. I was cleaning toilets, I was washing up till 3 o'clock in the morning. Not many chief stewards do that. They will probably just go to bed.
Right.
So there was no choice in the matter. We all had to do a bit of everything. And that's what I'm trying to say to them. You know, Oriana, you're not going to be doing it. At the end of the day, it depends on experience. So, you know, she's been in the industry a little bit longer than Casey, and she felt she was very confident in her position, stuff like that. So she felt she deserved the second stripes.
Right.
That's just the way it went, I suppose. And maybe there was a bit of like confusion in the ordering of the uniform, but this was no normal season. It was absolutely hectic.
Right.
And
right.
I respect the fact that she went out of her way to get it. It didn't really bother me, if I'm honest.
Yes, but I wanted to say, like, I was just confused about that myself, because I didn't really understand why she was so heated, but you cleared that up for me. But I feel like you handled that really well, like a girl's girl. Like, I feel like normally someone would be like, well, you should have came to me, which you did say, and then like kind of hold the torch against it. But I really respect that you were like, all right, we did, you know, we hashed it out and we moved on. I really like that personality trait in you, because I felt like most people would not have handled it that way. It would have been like, all right, you went behind my back, and would have really kind of held the torch for the duration of the show. And I feel like you really moved on from that with like excellent poise. I was very impressed by that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So as far as the excursions, they were really interesting, because I've never been to Norway. I don't know much about most of the places that you guys do go to. What was your favorite excursion that you took them on? Some of the guests on the yacht.
Oh, I think the paragliding, although it was an extremely long day, obviously we went up the cable car to like one of the highest mountains in Norway. The view was unbelievable. You know, I'm really like impressed that the guests did that, because
those were like really wild excursions. The one where she was hanging, I was like, oh no. I mean, you know what, if you give me a couple of drinks I might. But then I would be like, oh shit, as soon as I get up there.
With a lot of excursions, my guests were not allowed to drink before.
Oh, good. So good to know.
Entertain them, and some of the excursions weren't till say 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and obviously they want to drink, you know, they want and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh,
I know.
The challenges were endless, but that was good. And I think the not paragliding, what's the one, the abseiling, off the cliff.
That's the one I was talking about, where she was like swinging, and I was like, oh no, oh no.
So they were pretty cool, them ones. That's something that I think that they will remember for the rest of their lives, and that's what I wanted to achieve. I wanted them to have a vacation that they will sit at a dinner party in 5 years' time and
say, remember that time. Faye took us and we were on the yacht. Absolutely, 100%. So you guys sleep. I have to say, because I was watching it with my husband, and I remember, you know, they rightfully fired the first deckhand, because it's tight quarters. You have to have a certain amount of professionalism. 100% agreed with that. But what is it like sleeping so tight with all of those people? I mean, how long is a general excursion? It's like a week, right? When you have somebody on. So you guys have to stay down there and like so tight in those bunks like that. What is that like? Like, where is all your stuff?
We're down there for 6 months, maybe a year solid at a time. So you just have to keep your cabin as tidy as you can, and it's just a place to sleep. That's it.
You don't feel like claustrophobic, nothing like that. That would send me.
That's the only thing I'd say about, you know, I say to people, like, anybody can get into yachting, but you do have to have that. I'm used to camping. I'm used to backpacking.
I love camping.
I'm used to sleeping in hostels and things like that. So
that's nothing to you. It's a breeze.
So Some of the cabins are okay. You know, these are super yachts, but I got to admit the cabin situation for the crew on Mercury during Below Deck Adventure was probably the worst cabin I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. Well,
And I had
what
no hot water for
you
the whole
no
duration of
no
the
hot water?
no hot water. And
Oh my
imagine
God.
finishing work at sometimes 3 o'clock in the
Oh my
morning.
God, in ice cold water? You are
I couldn't do
superhuman.
it.
You are
I
superhuman.
fear. I have a fear of cold showers. It's the only thing I've got a fear of, I think. I can't stand cold showers.
No, especially
So,
after like running around and a long day's work, and then you go down. Do you guys call it the barracks, like, or do you call it what, like a regular ship? What do you
crew,
call it? Crew, yeah. You go down there, it's tight quarters, and you're in ice cold water. Oh hell no. Oh hell.
yeah, yeah.
And as far as like getting dressed, you get dressed at the table. That's it. Like when you do your makeup and hair, do you have like a spot to
No,
actually get ready?
you have a small bathroom that you can get ready in.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's not terrible. But that
Mm.
for me, that's like it's like very tight quarters. So it's like if you don't like somebody, you're imprisoned with them.
Oh, yeah. There's been times where I've like shared with, say, like the moody engineer or like
Yeah.
the moody deck boy, and or even I've had times where I've been with stews that their just energy is bad,
Yeah.
and it's really upsetting. But then there's other times where I once worked with my best friend. She was my second stew, and
Yeah.
we laughed the whole
Right,
time.
because it's like one big
She would be
sleepover.
in the top bunk farting away, and I'd be laughing away. So
It was a good time. Yeah, it's a different dynamic. Yeah, it's a good time when it's somebody who you actually like. So, as far as the last episode that we were talking about before, um, when you had walked into his room and, you had said to him, "I want it, but I'm gonna be professional and let you know that." How do you feel about the way that that all panned out?
I thought it was actually really nice the way it panned out. And generally, I went down to his bedroom to make sure he was okay.
Mhm.
I would have done that with a female or a male,
Right,
or
male or female.
yeah, because we all kind of slept down in the guest quarters that night because it was the last night.
Yeah.
My crew wanted to do it, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And he went
Yeah.
off on his own. And if one of my stews went off on their own, I would have checked to make sure they wasn't too drunk, that if they needed water, something like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And we all need a bit of loving and care, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, I'm the mother hen. So,
Yeah.
I could have easily done whatever with him, but
Yeah.
why did I want to wake up in the morning and feel that way? And I didn't want added pressure. And no, I'm happy the way I was. I didn't need to get in that situation, but I wanted him to know that, I still cared about him.
Are you sure you're not a Capricorn?
My
Because you're
brother is.
well, because like we're very like professional like that. Like if I was in a situation like that too, I would be like, listen, I have a certain decorum I have to follow, even though it could be whatever it would be. I'm always going to take a step back and put work first. So I feel like that
Yeah.
was like a woman thing, and I loved that about you.
Yeah, and it's nice because I've had so much feedback from other girls, like on my Instagram, just inboxing me saying, "Do you know what? That was really nice to watch. It gave me more self-confidence on how to
Mhm.
say no. You don't have to do it. You can know your self-worth. It's not worth waking up with any regrets.
No.
Think about it. Think about it twice. Think about it 3 times.
Mhm.
So yeah,
I
I'm
love
happy.
that you put like your professionalism, yourself, and your work first, and you were like, I could if I really wanted to. Let's be serious because of all the comments that he made also. And you
Yeah,
were like, it's not worth it. My job, my, integrity is here and this is here right now. And I love
yeah.
that about you. I thought that was a really good moment for you as far as like the season. Like it was a different side of you.
Thank you.
Speaking of different sides of you, you do so many different things. So what else do you do? What's
Yeah,
one
it's
thing you want to
funny.
touch on?
On one of the interviews they said, like, why do you feel that you was picked for this position? And I was like,
Mhm.
because I don't know many people like me, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But there's a Spanish girl that I know
Mhm.
that's similar to me, and she's the only one. Like, I've literally lived ridiculously poor in Cambodia, where I lived with
Mhm.
the bush people.
I
you
was
know
actually reading that when you posted that yesterday that you had
yeah,
said that, and I was like, wow, that's really I didn't know that you had that background.
Yeah, and I don't know how I've got it, because nobody in my family have traveled or backpacked, and no one from around my area really had
Right. It
traveled
wasn't
or
really a common thing that like people around you
no,
were engaging in. Yeah, they were
no,
just living
it's
their lives.
just really the way my life panned out, because I was at that particular point, I was living in Dubai and I was a businesswoman and I was constantly networking. And I
Hmm.
said to the Spanish girl I was just telling you about, I need to get away from people. I need to go and live in the bush for a while. And that's exactly what we did. We went for
Hmm.
4 months. I don't know how we didn't get murdered,
Yeah, that's
but we were
crazy.
so lucky. Like people, just local people that had nothing took us in. And so that was Cambodia and Vietnam. I lived
Hmm.
in Thailand for a while because I was
Wow.
training. Yeah, I was training
You
to be
got
a
a resume, Faye. Wow.
I didn't even like, my brother says, "But you can write a story on your life." Yeah, so yeah,
That's awesome.
and obviously I love cooking, so that's what I
Yes.
do now. So I've been a chef on super yachts as well. And people say, I remember when I got into yachting industry when I was 34, people used to say, if you work really hard for 6 years, you can be a chief stew. And I was like, excuse me, 6 years? Do you know who I am and what
Hmm.
I've done?
Yeah, exactly.
So no,
Maybe that,
I was
yeah.
like, I'll be a chief stew when I'm ready to be a chief
You
stew.
always
Like,
have to have that mentality too. If you want something, I always say to people, if you don't believe that you're not going to get what you want, you're not going to get it. And it's as simple as
exactly,
that. If you don't believe in
exactly.
yourself, it's never going to
Yeah.
happen for
But
anything.
also, I will say that I grafted really hard my whole life. I
Yes.
started work when I was 7, picking up horses' poo. And
But
then
you,
I was,
but you believed in yourself. That's the main part. Even though it was at the very, the nitty gritty of the bottom to the top, you believed in yourself and you
well, there
kept
was
going.
times, honestly, where I didn't believe in
No.
myself. When I first become a manager, I
Hmm.
was 22 and my staff were older than me. And I was like, I can't do this. Like, I'm
Hmm.
leading a team, they're all older than me, and maybe they're more experienced than me. And I'm meant to be a leader. And I was panicking, but you just have to persevere
Just
and you have to
press
realize
on.
why you've got to that position and just crack on and just put every ounce of energy you
Hmm.
have to be successful. You
Hmm.
have to be competitive and you have to put in the hours. And that's why I've got the confidence I've got today.
Good.
It didn't just come.
No, it doesn't just come out of nowhere. It comes from, stride and going through specific situations and just like you said, being
Absolutely.
surrounded by people who make you feel a little intimidated to maybe push you to that limit to find
Exactly.
what you really can do, even if you doubt yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got to admit, I think my 20s were the hardest years of my life. They're so challenging, and you don't know whether you're coming or going, or you're
Hmm.
competitive with yourself and others, and you want to strive to be the best. You don't like, but now I'm in my late 30s, I can actually feel
You
confident and
feel more sure of yourself. You know who you are. You know what you're capable of, and you don't really care if somebody wants to challenge that because you know who you are.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly.
I think that's a nice thing about being in your 30s. You just feel like you've kind of pecked over those hurdles of some insecurities. You've been challenged. You've done different things in your life. You've been in different stages. You're now a woman. I feel like the 30s are kind of where it's at. I don't feel like I'm ever worried about what anyone thinks about me because I know what I'm capable of at this point.
Yeah, yeah, like I walk out my front door now, and if I've got more curves than I had the week
It
before or
is,
what.
I know who the fuck I am, jiggle or no jiggle.
Yeah.
Jiggle or no jiggle, I know what's going on with me, so I really don't give a fuck. So you said that you're cooking now. So what's one thing that you love to cook? I know you
Obviously
probably
being from the
have so
UK,
many.
yeah, being from the UK, obviously curries are like traditional dish.
Hmm.
So curries are my favorite thing to cook. My nan used to do great curries. So, whether it's chicken, beef, goat, lamb, whatever,
Yeah.
I like a good curry. At the moment, so when I've always had bucket lists and things to strive towards. My last thing on my bucket list was to have my own food truck.
Right.
So with the money I've earned from obviously yachting, I came
Hmm.
back, got my food truck. It is hard work, and but I love it. I love feeding people. I
It
like,
seems to be doing like when I see the videos that you post of I will say I feel like your emotions really show through on your face. So like when you're really having a good time or if you're really passionate about something, I can read that from you. So when I've seen your videos of you like giving people stuff from your truck and being in your truck, and you look so in your element and you look really happy doing it. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
can tell it's radiating off you when you're getting everything together. You know what you're talking about. You're being nice. You know how to engage with the people who are coming. It just looks like you look
yeah,
really happy doing it
yeah.
as
I
just
think
someone
it's
who's
one thing. I think
observing
when you dream about something for so long,
and it
and
comes to
turning that dream,
fruition. Hmm.
yeah, turning it into reality, then you do see people that you've never seen before come into your van for your food, and you're like,
Right.
and then you're
Wow.
getting the
Like,
money. You're like, I'm
yeah.
doing this.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
doing
doing
this.
this.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be really I can tell. It looks like it's going to be really successful. It looks just also because I can kind of, I don't know you personally, but I know from what I've gotten to know of you on TV, you know what you want, and you always you're strategic, you plan it out. You're never going to just throw something out there without giving it the full scan. So I know
Yeah.
that you opening your truck, it's going to be a positive thing because you've thought it all out. You know,
Yeah.
you have the aesthetic, you have the social engineering to speak to somebody appropriately and make those lasting connections with the people who do come to your stuff too. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be really good for you. I can tell
And
just
again,
from
like I
watching
said,
it.
it all comes down from experience, working
Mhm.
your butt off in your teens and your 20s. You can, like, I can see in people's eyes if they want more mayonnaise, for example. I don't
Right.
even have to say it. I just know it
Yeah, I'll give
because
you some extra little razzle dazzle on there.
yeah.
I like extra
So
mayo too, Faye.
yeah. Yeah.
So
So
so if you weren't going to be, is this something that you always thought you were going to be on a yachty? Did you think you were always going to be working on boats? Did you have a different dream completely?
no, no, I just remember when I was in Dubai and I was exhausted because in Dubai you're contracted to work 6 days a week. And I
Hmm.
was in retail. So retail is every hour under the sun.
Yes. Oh my
And I said
goodness.
to my friend one day, "Do you know, oh yeah, and obviously I was managing 3 stores and doing training and everything. Anyway, so I said to my friend, I'm exhausted all the time. I just want to go to work in flip-flops. And she's told me about a guy that she met that cleaned boats. And I was like, oh, right. She's like, but he gets paid a lot of money for it.
Hmm.
So it planted a seed in my head. And then 4 years went by, where I stayed at the job I was in because I was always getting promoted or a new
Right.
launch came out or something
Yeah.
came up.
It
And
was
it went from,
progressing. It was going in a good direction at the point.
yeah, but it never left like my head, that little plant, that little seed that she planted.
Hmm.
And then I got to 30. I always set myself time limits and goals. So I was like,
Me
right,
too. Are you sure again? You're not a Capricorn.
you have to set time limits, whether it's a relationship, a diet, or
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
career, because
Yes.
before you can keep going, oh, I'm not happy. But by the time you know it, it's 3 years have gone past.
Hmm.
No, if you're still unhappy in 6 months, then start making changes in
Change the
6 months.
cycle. Yep.
Change the cycle. Yeah. And only you are going to do it. No one's going to do it for you.
Hmm.
So I got to 30. I said to myself, right, when you get to 30, you need to quit.
Hmm.
You need to quit your job. And that's exactly what I did.
That's
I got to the
bold.
top of my game. Yeah. All that training, all that hard work I put in, I was
Hmm.
like, bye. Nothing you can say can keep me here now. I'm
It's
sorry.
it
I'm
wasn't further
going.
challenging you. So when it doesn't further was it right? Is that the reason why you cut the cord? It wasn't challenging for, it just wasn't for
Well,
you.
no, I think when you work in sales, no, you can keep going and keep going. Nothing's ever going to be good enough.
Hmm.
Sales is always based on targets and budgets and stuff like that. So you're always going to have to keep chasing and keep chasing. And I
Hmm.
knew that. I recognized that. And did I want to spend my life being like that?
Just keep chasing
So
you.
yeah, like my brother works in car sales and he's
Hmm.
stressed all the time. And I said,
I
you do
bet.
realize it will always be like
Because
this.
it's always
It's
going to be the
sales.
next great thing and it sells. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So I gave myself a time limit of 30. When I got to 30, I quit. So that's what I did. And then for the next 4 years, I actually was a consultant in the beauty industry. So I'd go around to different salons, tell them where they're going wrong,
Oh, that's
how they
fun. Oh,
can
I
like
like that. That sounds like a
things like
fun
that. Yeah.
job. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't.
No, no, it
It was in
wasn't.
Dubai. And, a white British girl trying to tell Arab ladies how to run their business when they've got so much money and they don't really
Yeah.
care. And I'm like, oh, so it was really hard. But
I didn't know that you spent so much time in Dubai. How would you consider that like a home away from home, or it was like what
No,
is
I lived
Dubai
there
like?
solidly for
Yeah,
6 years.
wow.
It's an amazing place. It is just absolutely beautiful. The
Hmm.
architecture, the nightlife, the food, everything.
Right.
It is wonderful. But when I was there, it was hard work. I was a single woman on my own, I had to find accommodation.
Hmm.
You know, I was scared to drive out there, so I couldn't
I
get
would
from
be
A to
too.
B
Yeah, yeah,
easily.
yeah.
I was running great big shopping malls, and
Hmm.
there's so many rules out there you have to
Yeah,
follow. It was
yeah,
very stressful for
yeah,
me, very
yeah.
stressful.
I can
I'm
imagine.
surprised I lived.
I know. That's why
Like
I'm,
I
I'm like,
needed
wow,
to,
you were really there for like a hot minute.
yeah, I don't know how I survived there for 6 years.
Yeah, the only people that I know who have been to Dubai are military because sometimes they have to be stationed there, but I've never met someone who's been there for such a like a long period of time like that.
Oh, it's full of Brits out there now, full of South Africans and
Hmm.
like Australians,
Yeah,
because it is glamorous and it's a
it
nice
is.
life. It's
I
tax
know.
free.
But the only thing I have seen is it what it looks like on TV. It just looks like everything is just so lavish and grand and royal. It just looks like it's so stunning.
It is.
It
It
is.
is.
It
It is
is.
next level. And I'm telling you now, if you go to Dubai, you'll be spoiled for the rest of your life because nothing will compare to
Nothing
it.
will ever compare.
Everywhere else looks like a crap hole compared to Dubai because everything is new and everything is rich.
I know
It's
it
just,
all looks just so like grand. It looks so beautiful. Like
it
even just the
really is.
buildings and the
Mm.
stores, everything just looks so
Yeah.
luxurious.
And when you go out, there's no like going out in flip flops and your hair tied back. You go out in
Everyone's
a
going
diamond
out.
dress.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
No, I don't know
Yeah.
if I can
Full on
handle that.
makeup. Yeah.
So after you did the makeup in Dubai, what did you do next?
I flew myself to Italy. I was like, that's it. I'm
Very
flying
nice.
to Italy. Yeah. And I obviously didn't know much about the yachting industry other than that I like being on yachts.
Right.
And this is what I would say to anyone having an interview in any kind of job is your career history. Just think what you've achieved for everything there and sell yourself in an
Right. Pitch
interview.
it. No. Yeah. Know your
Yeah,
shit and pitch it. Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
So I flew myself to a place called Viareggio
Hmm.
in Italy, where I knew there was a marina, and this where they actually produce and make lots of yachts.
Right.
So I just walked around. I put a navy pair of trousers on and a white top, my Ray-Bans. My makeup was done nice, my hair was done
Hmm.
nice, and I just walked around trying to hand out my CV. And people were like, "No, we don't need your CV. No, we don't." And I'd be like, "No, just take it. It's not for
Hmm.
you. It's for your owner or it's for your
Right.
captain."
It's just being
Like, and I was,
persistent. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's hard, but then I sat in a coffee shop and yeah, two guys come and sat with me. One was a very wealthy man and one was his captain, and I
Hmm.
worked for them for 3 years.
It's amazing. I will tell
Yeah.
you though, it's always I respect that because I was looking for a job specifically a few years ago. I was in a job that I didn't like. And I did the same thing. I cut the cord and I said, I gotta find a job now. I made my resumes, I made my, business cards, and I went to, I want to say maybe 97 buildings, almost 100 buildings. Resume, I don't care if you don't want it. Here's my business card. Emails, and I just kept going and going and going. And then I'll tell you a funny quick story. I got my Botox done.
Oh yeah.
And it was right before my last interview. I didn't care. I said, I know I'm not getting the job. And they hit a wrong nerve and I got the droop eye. And I said, I'm gonna have to tell them I have like Bell's palsy or something. But I wore my glasses for it. I showed up anyway. And I said, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm probably not gonna get the job. That's the job I got.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
you always just gotta show up. It doesn't, and
Gotta show up.
my girlfriend was dying laughing because she was like, "You even did the eyeliner, like the wing on the droop eye." I was like, "I gotta show up." I said, "Whether I get it or not, I'm just always gonna go for it." So it takes a
Yeah.
lot of balls to, get yourself together and just say, here's my stuff," and just keep going, even though you're gonna get those no's and those reject. Just keep going.
Mhm, mhm.
So all it takes is that one yes. So
Yeah,
those, yeah,
exactly. And
and
I can bet your life that even the 90 other people that you went to
yeah.
prior, that somehow or another you've met someone from there before,
Yeah.
they saw how hard you was working, they saw that you got a job. Like everything you do does
Mhm.
have repercussions, and you just,
Yes.
positive or negative. So you just got to make sure that you show up
Yeah.
and you put all your energy into everything you want to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to be mediocre and just expect
Exactly.
mediocre back.
So I commend you on that. Just going, like, I mean, you're in Italy, you don't know anyone, you're going up to all of these people, and you're just really rallying for yourself. So the
Yeah.
two gentlemen came to you, and what did they have a proposition for you for a job?
Yeah, and it was, to be honest, I got the job with them, and I also got offered like 3 other jobs, and I was toying with like what one to go for.
Right.
Anyway, I went with them because the job seemed nice, and it was just as a crew cook
Okay.
and to maintain the boat. So it
Right.
was a big boat. It
Yeah.
was 46 meters, and it was just
Wow.
me on my own. It was up for sale, but I lived on that boat for 2 years,
Wow.
looking after the crew, showing people around because it was up for sale. But I
Mhm.
think my biggest challenge that actually put my back up quite a lot was because I was from the makeup industry. Every single day I would have a full face of makeup on,
Mhm.
and I'd have my hair done
Mhm.
to the point where my captain went, "What are you all about? Like, why do you turn up to work like this? Are you trying to like bag an owner?" And I'm like, "No."
I
I said,
show
"This
up
is
like
the
this
way."
for me because
Yeah,
I feel like people don't get that. We don't put
yeah,
makeup on for you. We put makeup
yeah,
on for us so that we
exactly.
feel put together. We feel it's just like that cherry on top, it's polished. It's a polished look.
Absolutely. I remember when I was working in Dubai and I was very stressed. If I felt like everything was falling on top of me, I would find the brightest, reddest lipstick and I would wear it and I would
Mhm.
walk into my store and I'd say, right, girls, we're having a meeting. And although I was kind of dying and exhausted
Yeah.
inside, that lipstick gave me the power that I
Yeah.
needed.
Listen, I believe in the power of red lipstick in Jesus' name. Amen. I love me a good red lip. But
Yeah.
that's what I say. If I'm ever feeling down, I'm gonna take a shower, I'm gonna blow dry my hair, I'm gonna do my wing eyeliner, I'm gonna put my lipstick on. It's for me. It is for me.
Yeah.
You ain't
Yeah.
trying to bag no guy.
Yeah.
It's just professional. You show up and you're dressed, you're groomed, and that's who you are.
Yeah, and that was something that was touched on one of my interviews. Like, some of my girls thought that they could come to work with wet hair, just straight out the shower, towel dry their hair, and go to work. And I'm like, no, that's not how you turn up to work, just coming
No,
out the
no.
shower. And if anyone wants to argue with me on that, I will openly have a discussion with them on it. So, yeah,
Listen, I have naturally straight hair and I still will do, I mean, I'll let it air dry and then I'll still make sure that it looks all right. It's just, yeah, it's taking care of yourself. And if it is wet because I am a mom, I'll put it nicely tight with a braid and a bun. It's never going to be just
yeah,
flying all over, especially at work,
yeah.
especially at
I
work.
know it's not easy. I mean, there's sometimes obviously when my hair
Yeah,
needs a good wash
but
and
at
I
least
don't have
it's, at
time.
least it's tied back, it's
Yeah.
groomed, you got
Or
your
put a big
lipstick
bow on
on.
it.
Yeah,
A big
just put a
bow.
bow on it and everything's
Yeah.
gonna be all right.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's part of, it's presentation, it's self-presentation, it's
Exactly.
integrity.
Yeah.
So what did you say to him when he said that to you? It's
It
just
took years to convince him, like,
that it
about
wasn't
my work
just
ethic. And I just literally proved to him that I was a hard worker. And at the time, we had a chief stew that would sleep a lot. So
oh,
that's when I was like,
that's your
right,
time to shine.
yeah, that's my time to shine. And I
Mhm.
did. I got up 5 o'clock every morning, cleaned the
Mhm.
whole boat, prepared breakfast for everybody, planned everything, blah, 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 while she was sleeping. So bad luck for her, but it was good for me. And that's when
Mhm.
I jumped in and proved myself. And then I instantly got to Chief Stew, like, pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
But to this day, he still says to me, like, you was trying to beg an owner. I'm like, no, I wasn't. Like, that's
No.
just me. That's just who I am. Just
Yeah.
because you're a yachty doesn't mean you have to you know, not show up properly.
Right.
And a lot of girls come to me and they have tons of makeup on, their hair's all curly and
Mhm.
glamorous, and that's what they use as their profile picture on their yachting
Mhm.
CV. And I
Mhm.
have to tell them, I hate to tell you this, but that's not going to get you places. You
No.
need to be very fresh, very simple. It's
Very
a profile
plain.
picture, very,
Yeah.
yeah, clean and cut. And then once you get on there, if you want to do your makeup the way, that's up to you. But as for profile picture on your CV, it needs to be very smart and,
And to
elegant.
piggyback on that, when I did do my resumes, I did do that as a mistake. And someone who I was friends with said, "You can't do that because then
Mm,
they're gonna always expect you to look like your hair all big and curly. just do either, your regular straight hair, some toned down makeup, and then if you want to show up like that, show up like that. But give them the
Exactly.
real you and, the plain Jane you, and that's going to be what they'll work on. So I agree. I think that's really good advice for somebody because I've made that mistake myself.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that way, if you just keep it simple, nobody can judge. You
Right.
just do it and
Right.
sell yourself when you're having a Zoom or a phone call and get them to know your personality, your real
Right.
personality.
Exactly. And then you can take it from there if you want to do all the bells and whistles with your hair.
Yeah.
So, do you have any new projects coming up?
Um, I will get back into yachting. I'm just having a nice break.
Hmm.
Um, any projects? I've always got projects in the on the line. I actually just
Yeah.
went and viewed a really bougie cafe
Yeah.
because I just love my whole time I've been traveling, whether it was like a little Rastafarian bar in Thailand to a bougie cafe in Saint-Tropez.
Hmm.
I look at cafes and what kind of cutlery they're using and napkins and what plants they have
Hmm.
dragging from the ceiling and blah blah blah. So I'm viewing a few cafes in London,
Yeah.
but I have realized that's a 24-hour,
It is.
7 days
It's
a
very
week. Yeah,
tumultuous being
yeah,
the owner of something like that. It is. It's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
work.
And
Yeah.
I think I've lived such a crazy life. I'm really ready just to not have a crazy life.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like it. It's very,
Yeah.
I mean, but
I'll
it's
never
very
get it though.
exciting.
Yeah. I could be standing in my kitchen cooking and some form of drama hits me from somewhere or other. It's just me, I think.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so who is somebody that you would say that you look up to, like as a female? It could be a male too, it doesn't matter. Like who is somebody that you look up to?
Um, it's a good question, and I have been asked this a few times. Obviously, the women in my family, like all my aunties, are very strong, strong
Hmm.
women. They're the ones that taught me that you don't leave the house unless you're confident and you look good and you feel good. They've all had fantastic marriages and stuff like that. It was obviously always a struggle, but they're proper like Southeast, East End London families. So I've got to admit, because I am so different, like I didn't really get much advice from my mum. She's never traveled. She's been in the same job her whole life.
Yeah.
She didn't really understand when I told her I was going traveling. She just laughed at
Yeah,
me.
she'd
But I,
understand that passion for adventure. It wasn't really
yeah,
something that she was
no,
accustomed to.
no. When I told her I was going to go live in Thailand, she was just like, "You're going to end up dead in the gutter
My
somewhere."
mom would probably say that too.
Yeah. And God, when I told her I was moving to Dubai, she was like, "Absolutely not."
Yeah, that's
So,
crazy though to think
yeah.
that. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But
But I
that's
think one of the ladies that I did look up to when I think I was probably about 21,
mm,
and I started working for Bobby Brown. There was a lady that stood up and she was like our trainer, and
mhm.
she had covered every like challenge and everything. Like you could ask her any question because she'd been there and done it. She had the answer. And
Yeah.
I was like, she was just very inspiring, and I'll never forget her. We're still friends now. She still watches my life. And I'm like, do you know what, Nikki? You were the most inspirational woman I've ever come across.
Oh, I
And
love
then,
that.
yeah, and then a few years later, I was actually in her position. So it worked.
Yeah. I feel like that's a unique answer because sometimes when I ask people that question, they'll give me like a celebrity or a writer. It's not usually somebody who they've met who has actually inspired them and changed them for
Mm,
the better. I like that answer. That's a really good answer.
thank you.
So, for Below Deck Adventures, what was your favorite episode?
But of mine, my
Mhm.
ooh, I liked the games one. So basically, charter guest got on called Steph and Mike, and it was all about the Olympics. So I needed to pull everything out the bag I could. So they did the paragliding, and at the
Mhm.
bottom I had the tug of war, the rounders, the
Yes. I
baseball.
remember they were like, "You're gonna need everyone for the tug of war."
Yeah.
But I love
And
I love when you do that when you're like, "We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this. Come on, guys, shooting out all the ideas."
yeah,
I love that.
yeah. And that was the plan. And I when I was growing up, we all used to play rounders together. You
Mhm.
know, we all used to play football and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And even if I'm like nearly 40, I still like a game of rounders or a game of football.
You're not
It's
old, Faye. Trust
fun.
me. That's not old. Trust me.
Yeah, I
I'm like
know.
right behind you. Trust me. We're not
Yeah.
old.
And I remember like on the pub, we were watching it, my family was watching it, and they know I'm very competitive. And I did a
Yeah.
round, I got the bat and I was like, I'm going first, I'm Chief Stew.
Hmm.
And my brother was like, oh, that is so you, Faye. And I'm like, yay, and I batted it and I ran and like I won. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's me.
Winning is definitely the best episode.
Oh,
Agree.
yeah, yeah. So I like that one. It all came together. Then obviously we did the floating obstacle course in the
Yes.
water, and I was so scared to do it, but I did it. I got to the top and I
Yeah.
smashed it. And I was
That
like,
would scare
yes.
that would scare me. Have you ever had to do anything where you go underwater like scuba diving?
Oh yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
don't know if
But
I
that
could
was
do
when I
that.
was traveling. That was we were in Fiji and we
Hmm.
were in a cave and you had to
Wow,
dive
you've
and
been
you just
everywhere, Faye. You've been
yeah.
everywhere.
It was just you didn't even have a snorkel, you just had a mask and it was
Oh, that would
pitch
scare
black
me.
and
Yeah,
you
that
had
would
to
scare me.
dive down, go through and come up the other end and it was still in the pitch black. It was
No,
horrible.
that would terrify me.
Yeah.
It just made me think of it because I know that you guys do all those crazy excursions. I didn't know if that was like one of them. Like
No, we
if you
didn't do
guys have
that
ever
in
had to
Norway.
do that. Yeah, no, thank
Hmm.
God. Thank God. Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
Um, yeah. So if you could explain Below Deck and try and convince one of your friends to watch it, how would you do it?
Okay. Um, hmm. I would say that this show is definitely geared towards people who want to see structure and what is behind the scenes of something that's lavish. I feel like majority of the time we're watching women who are rich or they're living these like the housewives they're living these lives that are relatable, but we don't ever really get to see what's going on behind the scenes of what's making that so lavish and so beautiful. So wouldn't it be a real nice switch to see the other side of the coin of what those people are doing to make those
Yeah.
lavish
Yeah.
people have those memorable moments that were like, wow, I wish I could live a life like that. Why wouldn't it be exciting to see the people who are actually creating that life for them behind
Yeah.
that? And also, it's
I
going to be
can
mixed in with a
honestly,
little drama.
yeah, I can honestly say every single child's guest I've ever had have come to me and said, we want to see the crew quarters. We want to see where you live. We
Yeah,
want to see
that's
where
well,
you
that's the
eat.
first thing I asked you. Like, I want to,
These
like, what's it like where you
multi-millionaires.
sleep? Like, that would be the first thing I would ask. Like, I wanted,
Yeah.
I think that would be my pitch to somebody. Like, you look at these people who are on these housewife shows and they have all of these grand and these Excelsior parties and they go on these yachts and these boats. Wouldn't you want to see the people who are actually bringing that vision to life and what it takes for them to do it? And the
Yeah.
drama and the nitpicking and who's in charge and the way it is, the formation of it. I feel like that would be my pitch for it. Wouldn't you want to see the people who are bringing that to life? I
Yeah,
do.
perfect.
Yeah.
There you go. You sold it.
Yeah, I do. I want to see the people who are going to bring something that Excelsior to life. I mean, they're the ones who are paying for it, but you guys are the ones bringing the vision together. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
would be my pitch for
Yeah.
it.
Cool. One more question.
Sure.
If you could do another podcast with
Hmm.
us together, what
Yes.
kind of topic would you want to discuss? What do you think is quite relevant now and or just fun or uplifting?
I have a couple of things that I could think of that are in mind. I feel like right now, a topic that's, I mean, I love celebrity. I love pop culture, but I feel like something that women don't talk about as an episode I would like to have is body issues. I feel like right now everyone is getting very skinny. There's a lot of conversations about Ozempic and there's a lot of conversations about, Kim Kardashian, not like and she's beautiful. I respect all women. I'm a girl's girl. Kim Kardashian is so skinny and we see like Megan Fox is so skinny and I feel like there's so much body dysmorphia going on for women right now. And I think that it's making women do things that they normally wouldn't do. Like, for example, take Ozempic or take Phenermine or want to be like these women and these ideal bodies. And that's just not reality. And I feel like I suffer from that myself. So I feel like it would be a nice vulnerable topic for myself and for,
Yeah.
and also maybe for you, like what is the body image in the UK versus these states? Like what are these ideals and how are they affecting women and situations where maybe I felt like not my best self or what I would do. I feel like body issues are really a hot topic right now.
Yeah, but I generally think like issues have been going around for years. I mean, when I
Yes,
was growing
yes.
up, I had an eating disorder when I was from 15 to about 25.
Right.
Like,
And I
just
feel like that would be a good thing too. Like everyone was so hush hush about it then. And now it's kind
yeah,
of like being brought to light. Like I listen, you sit at a table with your girlfriends and we're like, "Oh, I got a party coming up in 2 weeks." No one's shy about saying, "I'm not going to eat until the party." And it's like that is like the world we're living in right now. Like that we're putting ourselves up to these unrealistic expectations. So I feel like maybe that would be a good topic, or I trust me, I've got a whole vault of things I can throw out. But
yeah,
I feel like that one, like right now, I think especially because I'm in my 30s and things are changing in my body, and I see my friends going through the same thing, and they're all doing all of these crazy things to kind of keep up with it, and they're being more open about it. And I feel like that's something that people should talk about.
yeah, absolutely. I think if they just got confidence from another area, it could
Right.
be fulfilling their dream that they've been wanting to
Right.
do for so
Right.
long, and they're suppressing it. They're getting depressed and losing their
Mhm.
confidence. They're gaining weight because they're stressed from it,
Exactly,
maybe. Whereas if
exactly.
they actually channeled that energy into doing something they actually wanted to do,
Right, right.
they will get an inner confidence and they'll stop thinking and obsessing about
Mhm.
a few pounds that they've gained.
Yes, yes, yes. And I mean, I like speaking to women also who are entrepreneurs. So I like speaking about things like new business ideas or what resonated with that person to create that idea. I like things like that too.
That's my favorite topic as well. I think
Yeah.
once you listen to someone like that, you just feel really inspired, and
Yes.
you're like, yeah, it's positive. That's why
Yes,
it's not a
I like
negative
positive, yeah,
conversation.
every interview I like
Yeah,
to do, it's like I always wanna find the crux of what made that person like, you had this idea, not everyone believes in you. What drove you to believe in that idea? And what made like, what wheels were turning up here to make you find that idea also? I like to think about how other
yeah,
people think, because I know how I think, and I know I don't think like anybody else, and I'm sure you feel the same way, you don't think like anybody else. So
mm,
I always like to hear the dynamics of what wheels are turning in someone's head to make them get their idea, bring it to life, and the process of it too. I like things like that
yeah,
also.
yeah, yeah. I can, yeah, because I think some people have an idea or a dream that they literally, until they fulfill it, they feel uncomfortable in their own skin, and
Mhm.
they will not give up until they've got that
Yep.
thing. Like it could even be emigrating to another country,
Yeah,
for
it
example.
could be anything. It could be any
Yeah.
type of thing that somebody's seeking. I feel like
Mm,
that's
exactly.
yeah, breaking through
Yeah.
those barriers of what's holding you back or, why aren't you going for it and what made you have that dream? Why do you have that dream? And just like the thought
Yeah.
process. That's
Yeah.
I like to write. I don't really write often lately, but I look at people as stories. I always want to hear their stories. I want to hear the way that they think. Like the woman on the street, what is she thinking about? What's her story? Why is she where she is today? I always look at
Mm,
people in that way. I want to know the
yeah.
way they think.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Yeah. So do you have any other questions before we close off?
No, I'm all good. I'm all good.
Good. I loved meeting with you, Faye. You are more beautiful than I even imagined on my screen. I love the makeup and I love that lip too, by the way. You look fantastic. So thank
Thank
you for
you.
coming on my podcast. That concludes this episode of Pod Save the Queen. And remember, you are what you listen to.